Reputation is a gateway to revenue. Reputation is a gateway to revenue. A rock-solid reputation helps advance your career, gets you promoted, helps you develop more followers, helps you develop more influence, ultimately helps you drive more income. And so that is what we study. At Brand Builders Group, we look at reputation strategy. By the way, just welcome back. If for some reason you're just hearing me for the first time, my name is Rory Vaden. I'm the co-founder of Brand Builders Group and New York Times best-selling author. What we're going to address today is, if you remember, in the last video we talked about reputation formula. Results times reach equals reputation. And we said that your results is made up of a couple components, your character and your productivity. But when you look at a person's individual character, there are these enemies that attack our character. There are these roadblocks, these dynamics, these forces that we all bump up against, and many of us fail and fall short of, and that inhibits and thwarts our ability to build the kind of character that we need to build a rock-solid reputation. And one of those forces is insecurity. It's self-doubt. Right? We initially have this idea or dream to do something great, to build our influence, to make a bigger impact in the world or in the company or just in our personal lives. We immediately bump up against these thoughts that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough money, I don't know how to do that. Why would anybody listen to me or want to work with me, or why would I get promoted? And that insecurity, that voice, is what most of us lose to. And that's the first thing to realize, is that most of us that don't advance our career, that don't grow our influence, it's not because we actually lack the skills. It's not because we actually don't know what to do. It's because most of us, we never even get started because we're losing to self-doubt and insecurity. So that brings us to one of the key traits of people with rock-solid reputation, and that is confidence. Confidence. Now, you've probably heard that phrase before, right? You have to be confident, but how do you create confidence? Like, where does it come from? We have created a 4-step process to help you develop confidence. And the first part of it is really understanding the negative impact of comparison. Right? I think Theodore Roosevelt was who said that comparison is the thief of joy. And that is really true. And that is the first way, the first step in developing true confidence, this true belief that you are capable and competent of achieving the kind of reputation you need, of achieving the kind of results that you need to take you, your brand, your career to the next level. So how do we stop comparing? Well, one of the best ways to do that is to do step 2, which is to celebrate your uniqueness. To celebrate your uniqueness. One of the best pieces of branding advice that I have ever received, I heard as a very young speaker, right when I was starting my speaking career, and it was from a gentleman named Larry Winget. And Larry Winget said this, and the first time I heard it, I thought it was so brilliant. He said, the key to personal branding is to find your uniqueness and exploit it in the service of others. To find your uniqueness and exploit it in the service of others. And that is so powerful. When somebody understands, when you actually come to the realization that it is what is different about you that makes you special, that it is all of the things that are inherent to you that nobody else can copy, that is where the source and the stem of all of your magic comes from, is not from trying to be like everybody else, but accessing and understanding what truly makes you unique. That's the second step to developing confidence, is having that insight and understanding that your uniqueness is your competitive advantage. Now, the third step is to use affirmations. There's lots of people who talk about affirmations, but what you want to understand about affirmations in the human mind is like a computer. It does whatever you tell it to do. It thinks whatever you tell it to think. Now, The dangerous part about your mind is that if you aren't intentional about what you're thinking about, and we talk about this in the Take the Stairs book, the dangerous part is if you aren't thinking about your thinking, then your thinking starts to think on its own. And that is really risky because your mind can wander off in 100 different directions. And one of the things that I have noticed to be true about my mind, and I'm not sure if this is true about you, but left unchecked, in other words, in the absence of intention or discipline, my mind generally gravitates towards the negative. It generally, the volume on fear turns up and the volume on vision turns down. My mind says, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not capable, I don't like this, I'm unhappy. And so affirmations and positive self-talk, to use what Shad Helmstetter called in the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, is how you rewrite your programming. It's the same way that a computer programmer would just reprogram a computer. Well, what you say to yourself is how you go about doing that. And there's a lot of people that talk about that, but very, very few people do it. So if you want to build your confidence, you have to be intentional about your affirmations and about your self-talk. And then fourth, the fourth step to overcoming and building confidence, overcoming insecurity, and really moving past this self-doubt is to simply build your knowledge. The more knowledgeable we are about something, the more confident we become. And knowledge is something that you can control, right? We don't always feel confident. That's an emotion. That is a part of managing your state. But one thing you can control 100% is how much knowledge you take in. And as you increase your knowledge, so will you increase your confidence. As you increase your confidence, you will increase your ability to produce results. And as we said in the very beginning of this journey, results times reach equals reputation. So when you break down and you start looking at how do I create reputation, and you get all the way down to character and to confidence, these are actionable things that you can do today and anybody can do on any day to immediately start you moving towards success and move you forward on your journey. Now, that's not the only problem you're going to bump up against, right? Insecurity is not the only challenge that you are going to face. There is another challenge, another enemy, another form of darkness, if you will, that tends to creep up on people as they start building their profile, as they start building their brand, as their reputation rises, as the cachet of what they are known for increases, and as their reach starts to grow and expand. There is an enemy that comes up and captures us kind of out of the darkness and pulls you down from behind. In the next video, we're going to address and talk about exactly what that enemy is and what the people with rock solid reputations do to thwart that, to defeat it, to move beyond it. So I want to make sure that you stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I have gone ahead and included a link down below to our podcast. And that is just some additional resources where, as I mentioned to you, we spend time interviewing some of the most influential people on the planet. It's totally free. We'd love to stay connected with you there. So go ahead and click that button, check out the podcast, see if it's a good fit for you, and stay tuned. I'll see you again tomorrow.